Okay, what I'm going to attempt to do is create a tutorial for a Buildbox platformer. Now, a disclaimer straight up, I've only ever made two games in Buildbox. I've looked in the forums, I've got ideas and different things, so I've got a little bit of an idea, but I'm no expert. So this is from a beginner for beginners. So if you're a pro user, probably you're best not looking at this, although I might have some tips about tile sets and a few things in that to make things easy for constructing levels with. So rightio, first up what we're going to do is create new. And obviously we want the platformer template. Click on that one. Next we want to base it off coin collected. We want multiple worlds, and we're going to do, say, 3 levels. We want a next world. And we'll turn on world complete UI. We'll have a pause screen, a game over screen, and an info screen. This is where we're going to say, we'll tell the user what keys to use. I'm basing this off for a PC, and obviously you can use it on a Mac as well. I may do an Android export as well, but we'll just see how it goes. So now you've got all those locked in, and just hit create after that. Sorry, this is popping up on my second monitor. So that's, and where you are now is in the first world level. You look at this is your sort of your tree display over here with your world levels, your enemies, characters and all that. And there's your character there. You can click on him, and over here we'll go into this in more detail later on. So if you want an overall view of the scene, world editor and that, click on this guy here, and that gives you a full view of what you want to do. There's the 3 different worlds there in blue, and everything else in green is usually a UI screen, which overlays on your main one of your worlds. So we'll jump back into our main world 1, and what I don't like each separate little thing where they join up, because they tend to have like how could I say it, there's gaps where they join in between for the graphics, and it doesn't look that professional when you do it. I'm sure there's good ways to lining it up, but I've never been very successful with that. So I like to do it all in one big scene. So what we'll do, we'll click on the tabs below, which these are the separate little scenes within in the game. So we'll just delete those. Right, so now we're left with that one big scene in the level, and what I like to do is stretch this out. Now I'm navigating by middle mouse with the middle mouse button and holding it down. Now there's two places you can access this world level. One is here, and also the other one is here, and this gives you the options for the world. So we'll just go back into here, make sure we have world 1 selected, and there's a threshold. What this is, this deletes everything behind the player as it goes along. So this is set at 1,000 pixels. So I like to make platformers so you can move back and forwards along the whole scene. So I'll set that to 10,000, and the other one is, it probably doesn't need to be changed that much, but I'll set it at, say, 1100, and that's for up and down because this is a landscape game. So to test this out, that it's working, we'll just again, all this is going to change as we position, right? And this gives you an idea here of how big your level is. Okay, what you can do to have a look at the length of your scene is select start, and that gives you like the scene distance there. So we'll set ours to, we've got a maximum of, we had I think 10,000. We'll set it to 9,000 to just give ourselves a bit of extra room there. And you'll see that stretches it out that little bit extra. Now this little block that I'm pulling and pushing along is a platform, and when you've got it selected you can see it up there. It's just basically a fixed item that you can have your objects walk on or collide with. And you'll see it under your objects, and if you have a look at it, there's it shows the collision object there, which you can change. And say we've got a second copy of this guy here. It's exactly the same, but it's just been reshaped and resized. You can only resize the one object at a time. Well, I should say, put your collision detection on it once, and then that's it. You copy it multiple times over the scene. So with this, to duplicate stuff, you've got your WSD keys that you can copy with. So W for up, D for left, and so on. So what we're going to do, grab this guy, pull him along, and this is just testing, getting your scene ready and tested, just to get it started. So to test this scene, we've already got the default character in there. Instead of hitting that, if you hit that one, that'll bring everything from the start, you know, menus and that. But if you want to just test the scene, you click on the arrow with the it's like a loop arrow. So you click on that, Rightio, at the moment I've got it set to an iPhone, but we want to put it on, and let's put it on about 75%. Okay, we'll just close that and we'll run that. So that we're in our scene. I think the arrow keys will move it back and forwards. J to jump. We'll change that later on. So we'll just go along till we find where we put that second platform. Okay, we've come to the second platform, and when we're testing, you can test on it with a debug, and this shows you all the collision objects in your scene. And straight away you can see there's a problem. This guy, you won't be able to go backwards and view what he's doing, and obviously he's run into the little spike because of that. So what we need to do, there's a little button up here called Show Game Frames, and this thing here is pretty important for viewing. It's like a camera or a safety view for a camera. Shows you where it's gonna focus in on. So what we're going to do is bring this in like that. So now the camera will fully zoom in to the character and give you a bit of extra room back and forwards. So to test this out, we'll click this button again. I'll just take off the debugging mode. And you can notice that you've got a gap now when you're going back. I would have liked more of a one. I'm sure if somebody knows how to, this is all I know. That's to get that back. So, and obviously if you go too far, he's going to fall off, and you know. So when you're constructing the game, you need to put, say, blockers in at each end. So I'd put in, let's hit W to get that guy there, and I'd pull that up to just to stop him from doing that, and then I'd probably D to copy him here, and it's middle mouse button to drag that along and put that there. So you've got it. So he doesn't drop off now. He's stuck in between all those ones. And just test it again. So that's it. He's stuck there. He's not going anywhere. So this is this will probably conclude the first part of the tutorial. What I will say is, when we'll go back to the mind map and see our settings here, we need to copy all these over to the other worlds so they're all acting the same. So that's 10,000 and 1100. We need to copy there 10,000 and 1100. We also need to go into these scenes as well and delete all these little mini scenes as well. So just select and delete. And again, go over to your scene starts, and we'll throw in the 10,000. enter. Okay, and what you'll do is just do exactly the same thing on level 3. Select start, throw in and delete these guys. Okay, so that concludes the first part of the tutorial to get the basics set up. In the next part we'll start thinking about the character and setting up animations for him. Obviously we want something a bit more exciting than a white dot floating around the screen. Okay, we'll see you in the next tutorial.